Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon. I'm your host Imperialis, and we are on our second tutorial mission. So, the new thing that this one introduces is the purchase option, where now I can hire new units. So you can see we've got one, more options here, and two, we've got 3 spots in our army to fill. So the units that we had in the last mission have carried over. They're back up to full strength, so we've got our Salamander replaced, which is good, and our infantry are back up to full strength, which is also good. So we've got 3 spots to fill, and let's take a look at what our options are. You could get another Salamander Scout, and it's been proven to be pretty useful so far. So let's purchase a second one of them. That autocannon is very handy to have. Now, one thing with this mission is you'll notice here we've got thicker terrain. Now, dense jungle and stuff like that can't be crossed by vehicles. Only infantry can. They also block line of sight, give cover, that sort of stuff. We've also got a trench line to assault. So, going to have to think how we're going to go about doing that. Again, the objective is exact same. Capture the 2 victory hexes, and all's right with the world. Now, we've spent one of our slots, and that also costs the requisition points. Didn't use any in the last mission, but and they do carry over from mission to mission, so that's important. But let's take a look at what other options we have. We could get a Griffin, which is sort of our first piece of artillery. It's got a mortar with a range of 2 to 3. Does 50 damage, 10% armor piercing, and fires 2 shots. Can also fire indirectly, so it can fire over something that would block its line of sight. And artillery can be very useful. Griffin's not so much, but I can also upgrade this at a later time. So upgrade it to Bombard or Earthshaker or something like that later on. So we'll purchase that, see if we can start getting some experience for that. And then with our last spot, might actually get a command company. Now, command companies are nice. They have the same strength, so there's 20 men in the unit, same as the Steel Legion infantry. They move a bit quicker, and ever so slightly better armor. High initiative, though. But they also, in addition to carrying las guns, they have power swords. And power swords are an assault weapon, which, like the flamers, let them engage in close combat. And the nice thing about the power swords, too, is they have an armor piercing value of 25 and do 40 damage. So they're surprisingly good tank busters in close combat. The leadership ability also gives a morale boost to any adjacent units, which can be extremely useful. So we'll purchase that. And then the other thing I want to do is potentially upgrade one of these infantry units to flamethrowers. And to do that, instead of clicking the purchase button, you just click upgrade, and then you can select how you want to upgrade them. So I could get another fire support, get a second heavy bolter, or I could get flamethrowers. And flamethrowers they're nice. I mean, they do 30 damage, they fire 4 shots. I mean, that'll tear through infantry pretty good. So let's upgrade them. Now the downside is they have a range of 0, which means that they only work in an assault. So they can't even shoot at the hex next to them. They have to actually get in there and get stuck in, and so these guys tend to suffer massive casualties. But we'll upgrade them to the flamers. And then my other infantry unit here, I'm going to give a transport to. I'm going to give them a Chimera. And a Chimera is, well, basically a BMP. It's a little armored fighting vehicle. The nice thing about it is it lets them move further because they can mount up into it. And let me... Oh yeah, it does list their stats here. So it has a multi-laser and a heavy bolter, which are both good anti-infantry weapons. It does lower the number of units in the squad when you mount up, but it increases their movement, increases their defense, that sort of stuff. So it's a useful upgrade. The downside is it does cost 90, and it means that if I have to replace these guys in the middle of a fight, like use the replacement option with them, it costs more requisition to do so. But my primary assaulters are going to be my command company and my flamers, so they're going to take the bulk of my casualties. So I'm okay with giving my infantry here Chimera, mostly just to help them move faster across the map, and to provide some still some effective fire support if they do need to mount up. So upgrade them, and I will also upgrade my heavy bolters the same way. I'll get them a Chimera as well. And yeah, that's it. So let's start deploying. Start with the Salamander. Yes, I cannot deploy a unit. We'll put my Walker down here. Put him towards the back. Second Salamander right there. Those are my flamethrowers, so I'm going to put them forward. And heavy bolters there. Because this is all nasty, rough terrain here. It can't really take forever to move through, and so just a straight shot through to the objectives seems like the best way to go with this. Okay, so right off the bat here, we see some enemy units. And so to take on them, we've got another one of these Taros here, which has the flamethrower, which can be annoying. So what we'll do to start things off. Ooh, and this guy... Oh, because that has the support. Right, I need to deal with that first. Okay. Though if I moved him down here, he'd be out of range of that, so let's do that. Chewed through him. Oh, and here's a little fire support unit. It's immobile, but it does have heavy bolters. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just how effective command infantry can be at dealing with armor. Killed him. Sweet. Now here... So these are my flamethrowers. I'm going to take some casualties, but... Again, you can see how effective they are at dealing with that. So down here, this has a range of 3. This has a range of 3. That's less than ideal. I can't even get a hit in on it. Okay, so what we'll do... So now, yeah, here, so you can see because they've got the vehicle, the pips show where they can move on foot, and the tanky thing there shows where how far they can get in a tank. So we'll move him up there in the tank. Saying I shouldn't lose a tank. Maybe what I'll do. I did lose a sentinel. Did not lose a tank, though. Okay, that was what I was most concerned about. Advance that scout up. Oh, we got another tarantula up there. So range of 3, that means he can reach all the way down to here, which is kind of my clear path through through the jungle. So end the turn for now. No, still out of range. Oh, okay, here's a good spot to actually drop this guy, because this dense jungle here blocks line of sight 100%, so I can, boom, take him out. Advance him up. Oh, and we have more targets. Oh, las cannons. So those last ones had heavy bolters. These ones have las cannons, which hurt more. And he has the flamer, and they've got pistols. So let's take out the flamethrower tank. Advance that guy down there. Chew through them. Okay, so he's in a bad spot right now because he's in range of those 2 las cannons. He's going to get hit next turn and hit hard. Now if I move there, he would be in range. Would he be in range here, though? No, he is not. That is good. And you guys, just gonna move there. Command squad advance, you advance. And they have to actually end their turn in a building. They can't just kind of move through it, which kind of sucks, but start you guys trying to catch up here. Now, what I'm going to do, because las cannons stink against infantry, so we're going to advance him. Do a fair bit of damage. You go finish him off. So I mean, that's what this is really all about, is figuring out which hammer to use to pound the... You down there. Now if I move you here, you're out of range. Undo that move. Like, I'm being very cautious around this anti-tank gun, because it's not going to do a whole heck of a lot to my infantry, but it could definitely ruin a tank's day, so...
I didn't see you in the officers' mess last night. Were you avoiding Jaxxon? He was holding court, saying that Yarrick has lost it, that the Commissar doesn't want us sharing in the rewards the Governor's explorators will find on the Space Hulk. I must admit, it's an exciting time. We could all do with a few extra creds in our pockets.
Okay, so they shot at those infantry of mine, did a bit of damage to them, nothing too serious though. So what we're gonna do Well, basically the same thing we did last time. We're going to advance the bolters up. And then we're going to advance the last gun. Now for you, advance to there. Do an artillery strike. You've got auto pistols, so just finish you off. Oh, and we've got another scout down there, or another wyvern. Now the wyvern's very good for anti-infantry, so I want to try and keep my infantry away from it. Because you see it does the 4 shots, but it has no armor penetration, and only 35 damage. So good at chewing up infantry, but not so good at vehicles and the like. Now if I attack here, it says I lose 2 of my salamanders, which... Oh yeah, because it has support. Right. Well, let's do that. Yeah, and that turned out pretty much the way I figured it would. Finish them off. Advance the infantry in. I guess we'll wait one more turn before we advance the infantry into that one. You'll notice up there was that random hive militia. That's one thing I've found with the AI in this is unless it's programmed to do something, it just sort of chills, which is a little annoying. It'd be nice if it was something a little bit more dynamic. Anyhow, I've captured both the victory hexes. And let's end the turn.
We may make a half-decent officer out of you yet, Commander. But I have a feeling time is short. I can feel it in my bones. I always get armache when alien scum is close by. Carry on with your training. The greenskin filth hasn't made planetfall yet.
So they've discovered it's
so
orcs.
Continue your exercises. We'll need well-trained, well-drilled battalions in the weeks to come. Remember, the Commissar is watching.
Ha! And I thought we wouldn't see any action until we were levied off-world. This wargame stuff is a waste of time. The sooner the orcs get here, the better. I'll show those beasts. In the meantime, it's best if you capitulate early. You're never going to take that river crossing I'll be defending.
So in the own up. And they haven't landed yet. They're still making their way in system. But yeah, so we've got orcs coming. So again, objective here, capture 5 victory hexes, which is all of the victory hexes on the map, basically. 5,000 requisition points. We've earned a little bit of glory already. And we can see our salamanders are getting remarkably experienced, which is nice. They're good little units. At one of the points here, you can actually, in the tutorial, you can upgrade them to salamander command vehicles, which makes them even nicer. Okay, but I suspect, yes, we can buy 3 more units. First up, we've got more artillery. We can either get the Medusa or the Griffin. So if you compare the two, the Medusa does more damage, has more armor penetration, same range, but does not have indirect fire. So you point it at what you want to die and pull the trigger. Other than that, it's very similar to the Griffin. But more interestingly, we have the option of getting a couple of Leman Russes. Now we can either get the standard Leman Russ, which if you look at the models, they're different. The standard Leman Russ has a battle cannon and a las cannon. So it's got a las cannon mounted in the hull there, and it's got a battle cannon on the turret. The upgraded Leman Russ has a battle cannon, a las cannon, and 2 heavy bolters mounted on the sides. So the upgraded Leman Russ is actually a very, very good general purpose tank. The heavy bolters can deal with infantry, the las cannon can deal with tanks, and the battle cannon can, well, kind of deal with both. More effective against tanks than infantry, but it does. I think there's a hidden stat that has like explosion radiuses as well. So this, even though it only fires 1 shot because it's a high explosive shell, it has a chance of damaging more units than might otherwise be the case. The upgraded Leman Russ also has a higher initiative, which is fantastic, though it does cost another 100 requisition. So other than that, slightly less armor. I guess these sponsons aren't as well armored as just a straight piece of steel would be. Yeah, anyhow, we'll get back to that in the next episode here, because I'm coming up on half an hour, which is about the max that I want to keep these episodes. So I'll put a cut in here and then go through my purchasing and deployment and fight the next battle next time. Till then, cheers.